Wow. That's freaking cool, man. Alright, so I thought I'd do a quick video on my phone holder that I have here. Now, this guy was designed off of a previous version, which was just a holder here. And this one had some problems printing, so you can see I kind of welded it together with some acetone. This is ABS, printed with my Prusa Mark III's. So I printed this guy. It's a little bit thicker because I needed to get this housing for the charger kind of like set down so the phone was more centered on it. And then I have a top piece that goes and connects the whole thing together. There's also two nails that I kind of ground the ends off of that are kind of press fitting this together, so even though it's two pieces, it's a really sturdy assembly now that has those kind of press fitted nails in there. I think it's a 3.5 millimeter hole, and then I kind of used a heat gun to kind of press them all the way together, heated up the nails a little bit. It's a very strong connection there. And then so there's two screws, you can see them poking out the bottom there. Oh, this is actually my old design. So the first design I used was, I had a hole for the charge port right here. Let's talk about, I have this like little nut holder that I printed. You can see the nuts are right there. And this guy just slides in here, and these two holes it goes through and screws thread into these guys. Anyways, the problem with going straight down with my charger is that it would make a sharp 90 with my cord, which I feel like would have more chance of over time the car's rattling and things like that, going over bumps. The 90-degree bend right there would potentially cause some issues, so I changed my design a little bit. Here's the top piece as well. Just get it put on that way. It kind of encapsulates our charger. I printed it a little bit oversized, so I'm going to stuff this foam in the top area here just to kind of crimp down better on the charger. I designed the top piece to take number 8 wood screws. And then you can see on the back here there's a cutout for the cord. It's at an angle so that when it comes out, you know, it'll be cord here rather than the actual connector once it leaves here, and so it can kind of go around this area and down. I'll show you how I'm going to wire that in a second here. And then I'm going to put in my charger here, so you can see that the port will match up with that area right there. And then this guy right here will go right in there, and then this can make an easy transition out of there, which I think that's pretty good design. Here I'm just putting together the assembly. Rather than adding foam to make a snug fit on the charger, I could have printed a tighter tolerance plastic part, but that wastes more plastic, and the foam also has anti-rattle properties, so I think this was a good solution. Okay, so that's a pretty nice looking assembly, and you can see the phone will sit right there. So pretty snug fit, but not too snug. Still pull it out, but it's not going to rattle around too much in there. So now we just got to focus on the wiring and drilling out the other hole for the cord in the bezel piece. One thing I don't want to do is I don't want to go off of the stereo wiring because I don't want to add any noise to the stereo system. But right here, actually, right here, I've got the wiper system. What I was looking for is something that would turn on when the car turns on or when the key's on. So I took my voltmeter here, set to 20 volts, and looking for a 12 volt signal wire for the relay. The key is not on, it's in the ignition right now. I'm gonna use the cigarette lighter circuit for power. So I'm using, just grounding my negative lead on my multimeter to the housing of this, which is ground. And I'm back probing. It's not very good the way I have this leaned up. Not very good practice, but got the positive lead back probed on, I think it's this white and black wire right here. So when you do that, let's see if I can get them both in within the shot. You don't get any voltage, but when you turn the key, and there you see basically 12 volts. So it shows like 11.5, but that's a 12 volt signal wire basically. And you can use that for the signal, or at least that's what I'm going to try, because on a relay, it's just activating the coil. So basically it's turning on this switch. You're using the, that signal wire to turn on the relay, which will turn on the actual power to, it's kind of complicated because I'm using another USB port. This is a quick charge 3.0 adapter here. That's what I'm using to actually power the charger. So I'm gonna use a signal to turn on power to the cigarette lighter wiring, because I'm gonna tap in, like go parallel to that with this guy right here. And I'm only gonna be using one of these, so I don't think that's gonna overload the circuit. But the good thing is both these circuits, the wiper motor and the cigarette lighter, are fused, so I don't think that I will need to use any fuses, and everything will be kind of protected, and also very localized here. So if somebody opens this, they'll be able to see obviously that I'm using this relay and this guy to power the charger. Or if I have a problem with it as well, I can easily track it back down. Without a diagram, wiring tends to get really confusing. So here I just posted a graphic I made. It's kind of the way I think about relays. Now I did notice when I was looking up relays that a lot of the diagrams had the low amp power and ground switched on the 85 and 86 terminals. So I'm not sure if it matters which one of those two has the ground or power, but this is how I did it. Basically all a relay does is control a high amp circuit with a low amp circuit. So your low amp circuit draws about 150 milliamps, and that's what I'm using the signal wire for, and the ground, that's its own circuit that just turns on the high amp circuit to your device. This next diagram just shows exactly what I did for this particular application. Now this is just for reference, you know, do these modifications at your own risk, but this is what I did. So first I'm going to focus on my relay, which I have this nice socket for. Alright, so the 86 terminal on a relay, which is the yellow on this connector, is our signal. So I'm going to go ahead and cut our signal wire. Okay, let's see what our next connection is. So this guy's gonna get one ground connection to the one to the relay and one to this, I guess, the quick charger. Now you can't actually buy mounts like this, but I'm trying to hide all the wiring because I think it'll look a lot better. That's, I guess, why I'm doing it, and it's also exactly where I want the phone to be mounted. So that's kind of the benefits of this way of doing it. So again, this is the negative from the cigarette lighter. The ground wire goes to the 85 pin on the relay I'm using, which oddly enough on the socket is the red wire. Since I needed to splice in two different wires here, I decided to make a little jumper in between, so I didn't have to splice them all in together in one place, which would have made a large connection point. Now that I spliced in a ground for my relay and for my quick charger, I can tap into the high amp power coming from the cigarette lighter. This will go to the 30 pin on my relay. Now I'm going to remove the middle pin on my relay socket. Alright, so I got the straight pokey tool. It's important to remove or tape off this wire just because when the relay is in the off position, high amp power flows to this wire. But there's like a catch in there. Just push that way, maybe? Yeah. So there's kind of a detent. I just pushed out on the metal to bend it to get it to come out there. There's like a little tab right there that you're trying to push back, I think. I can go ahead and connect this guy too. Alright, I found him. There's a little supplied power wire. This wire goes from the 87 pin on the relay to the positive pin on the quick charger. So, I'm going to use this old relay right here. And I'm going to use positive. Alright, that looks to be correct to me. So basically this guy will plug into the quick charge circuit because that's what's recommended for my particular charger. And then I just need to figure out how all that's going to fit back there. Once your wiring is complete, it's a good idea to test it out before you button everything up. Alright, so the battery's on, it's not connected to, the switch isn't connected in here right now, so I'll put my phone in here. Now I'll turn the key on. And it's charging. That's pretty dang cool. Just kind of check and see if any wires are getting hot. Cool. After the initial test, I just had to make sure that all the wires were happy. Bring that up a little bit. It took a few tries, but eventually I got there. Okay. That almost worked without cutting a hole. Given that, I think I'm just gonna notch the edge rather than make an actual hole. Okay. So I got my screws here. Got it kind of marked up and I can see where my notch needs to be. Here I used a bird tool to make the little notch, and a little piece of sandpaper worked really well to kind of clean up the rough edges. Alright, I think we're ready. Plug this guy in. Slide our nut piece in there. Make sure this lines up well. Wow, that's freaking cool, man. For this Explorer, still gotta put back together these two screws. Other than that, well, I know the windshield wiper's working because I can hear it working. So that means my signal wire is working good. And that's successfully charging. This is working, let's see, even on high. The dry windshields. So we're good to go. Thanks for watching. Oh, and the green is my prototype color. So if you're gonna give me crap for it, I know it clashes horribly with the blue. Get over it. Thanks for watching. Go build something cool. Alright, so interestingly enough, the same day I made my sweet charger holder, I took my bike out and the plastic actually broke off. 10 out of 10, do not recommend cheaping out on your folding holder for your motorcycle. Oh, I found, I was able to find some scratched up bits of the case, but it was in a super sketchy place. Honestly, I had no business being out there. Wasn't worth it. It's just a phone, so keep that in mind. All this stuff, it's fun to make stuff, but stay safe. See you next time.